folks. I just want to introduce you to another method that helps with division of a polynomial, and that's called synthetic division. It's not really popular with me, but it works. It's a shortcut, and well, I don't really like shortcuts. I always remind people. Remember what happened to Little Red Riding Hood when she took that shortcut through that forest. Anyway, let's have a look at this. It's always good to have some sort of ammunition backed up there, the different methods and stuff like this. So in the last video, we looked at long division proper, and now we're going to look at synthetic division. And let's just see what this looks like. So on with the program. So here's a typical question. You have the cubic x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 4, and we want to divide that by x minus 2. So you remember the numerator we call the dividend, and the denominator, which is the bottom one, is called the divisor. Look at the order of these things. So we got order 3 at the top, it's a cubic, and at the bottom we got order 1. Now I must emphasize, and this is very, very important, that the synthetic division only works or applies to a divisor of order 1, which means linear in x. So for instance, if you had something like the numerator divided by x cubed minus 3, then this is not going to work, and you've got to go back to the normal long division. So nevertheless, if you have linear factors like x minus 2, x minus 3, 3x plus 1, for instance, these will work beautifully here. But in general, got to resort to the old 80s method of long division. So let's take a look at this question more closely. Okay, so we have the same question from the previous slide, but the first thing I want to do is let's look at the numerator more carefully here and look at the coefficients of the term. So the coefficient of x cubed is 1. The coefficient of x squared is not 2, it's minus 2, and I think this is very important. The coefficient of x is plus 3, and that constant term is minus 4. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. We've also established that the divisor is linear in x, so we know that synthetic division is going to work. So these coefficients are going to play a very important role, and that's what starts the ball rolling, and that's essentially what we're going to write down now. So the coefficient of x cubed is 1, and that's essentially what I'm going to write down here. Coefficient of x squared is minus 2. Coefficient of x is plus 3, and that constant term is minus 4. It's also important that you write this in descending orders of x, or the powers of x. I think that's very, very important. Now we do something a little crazy. And that is, if we look at the constant term of the divisor, it's a minus 2. So instead of putting a minus 2 on the outside, we're going to put a plus 2. Now I want you to twirl this in here and think about why we're doing this. The other thing that's also very important, that's almost like a common feature with the ordinary division, is that I'm going to put a line across over here, and you're going to see why shortly. Just over there. Okay. Now, let's get on with the program. The first thing we want to do is we're not going to make changes to this 1. So we're going to transfer the 1 all the way down there. And essentially, we're going to write the 1 over there. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is we're going to do some multiplication. Just like in long division, we're going to take that 2 that you see on the outside, and we're going to hit it with that 1. So 2 times that 1 is obviously 2. And where does the 2 go? Well, 2 times 1 is 2. So the only possible, plausible place one could do is put it down there. Okay. And what we do then, very simply, is add these two numbers up. When I say add these two numbers up, I mean these two numbers, minus 2 and plus 2. So what is minus 2 plus 2? No prizes for guessing. It's 0. What do you think we do next? You can almost see this fanning itself out, creating itself almost like an electromagnetic field. So we do the next one. So we go 2 times 0. So what is 2 times 0? Don't use a calculator. Come on now, guys. 2 times 0 is going to be 0. That's the only place we can put this 0 is where? Of course, there. So what is 3 plus 0? 3. For sure, as God made little apples. What do you think we're going to do next? Yes, of course, it's going to be 2 times 3. Come on. There we go. 2 times 3. And now you tell me, where's the 6 going to go? 2 times 3 is 6. There we go. Minus 4 plus 6 is going to be a beautiful, healthy plus 2. You see that? So we got these numbers 1, 0, 3, 2. Interesting enough, the last number that you see there, this chappy over here, that equals to what we call the remainder. Nice. And what are the others represent? 1, 0, 3. Well, 1, 0, 3, interestingly enough, think about this very carefully. We've divided x cubed by x. So it tells me that the quotient, the answer, must be x cubed over x. The leading term must be x squared. So this 1 that we see right over here is the coefficient of x squared. The 0 that we see is the coefficient of x. And the last one is the coefficient of x to the power 0, which is the constant term. So what have we just worked out? Well, interestingly enough, I've just shown you that x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 4 over x minus 2 is equal to 1x squared plus 0x, I'm going to write that down for now, plus 3x to the power 0 plus a remainder of 2. But 2 over, obviously the remainder is not that, over x minus 2. You have to be very careful here. Right, so let's just write that again. So this is x squared plus 0's gone, 3x to the power 0 is 1 plus 3 plus 2 over x minus 2. If you want to check my answer, it's pretty straightforward. On the right hand side, if you take the common denominator, which is x minus 2, you add that up, you should end up with exactly the left hand side. Another way of actually writing this, from what I've told you yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. What did I tell you? And that is, we can take these polynomials and eventually I can write x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 4 is equal to, see if I multiply throughout by x minus 2, is equal to x squared plus 3 into x minus 2 plus 2. Let me write that down for you. So we can write x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals to, I'm multiplying throughout by x minus 2, so I have x squared plus 3, and this guy sitting over there. It's exactly that there. You can see it quite clearly when you multiply. Use the distributive law over here, go back to, grade 3 or something. Add 2 to that, and you'll get the left-hand side. Easy peasy. Go through this very slowly. I suggest you pause the video, take it one step, one breath at a time. Understand it, and trust me, you cannot just do one question and become an expert on synthetic division. Get more examples, work through them, practice, practice, practice. Cool stuff, guys. So yeah, hopefully we see you on the other side of 10, whatever that means.